Hello and welcome to Breaking News on December 14th, 2025. This is JRock's Babylon News. And got some sad news to report today, folks. Just breaking this afternoon, it was announced that two bodies were found in the home of actor-director Rob Reiner's home in Brentwood, California. And since the report broke, we have learned that, in fact, it was Rob Reiner, 78 years old, and his wife, Michelle, 68 years old, that were found dead, stabbed to death, murdered in their Brentwood home. No suspects or too much else is known other than that. Um, Man, what else can I say? I mean, it's never a good time for something like this to happen, but man, especially around the holidays. Um, just literally a week and a half away from Christmas, New Year's is right around the corner. Not that any of that matters, but I mean, I tell you, when I heard the news, I mean, I couldn't believe it. And of course, in today's modern world, when news like this breaks, I mean, it starts breaking on the internet. First, it's announced two bodies were found in the home, and then very quickly, TMZ, which usually when TMZ reports something, they're pretty good about making sure the news is accurate, that's official. Um, and of course, Rob Reiner was so many different things. I mean, I can just tell you my kind of you know like many people for me, I first became aware of who Rob Reiner was years ago on the 1970s sitcom All in the Family. Of course, he starred as Michael Meathead Stivic, Archie Bunker's bleeding heart liberal son-in-law married to his little girl Gloria. And I tell you, the arguments between that would take place between Mike and Archie on All in the Family was just, I mean, it was beautiful. They had so many beautiful moments. I mean, it was they really had a great show there. I mean, the show was controversial for many reasons because it was one of the first shows ever in the history of television at that time to ever kind of incorporate a lot of politics and a lot of controversial things like that. That before All the Family, you can't probably think of too many other shows where politics were even discussed on the TV. And of course, Archie Bunker being a red, white, and blue patriotic American Republican, and his son-in-law being a bleeding heart liberal. You know they were going to clash from the minute they met. I'll never forget that. They had a flashback episode of when Archie and Mike met for the very first time. His little girl Gloria is just probably fresh out of high school, wearing these little pigtails, kind of reminiscent of Cindy Brady from the Brady Bunch. But from the minute Archie and Mike meet, I mean, he comes in the house and he's wearing these ripped blue jeans, and he's got long hair, got a mountain kind of man overgrown beard, and from the get go, Archie doesn't like this guy. He thinks his little girl could do much better. And of course, I really loved, All in the Family. I mean, it's one of my all-time, even to this, one of my favorite go-to classic TV shows. Whenever I want to have a good laugh. So, the fact that Rob Reiner and his wife, I mean, that's the ultimate thing we're reporting on today. Just super sad news. And of course, after Rob Reiner left All in the Family, that time we should report the time he left All in the Family, him and Sally Struthers, who also played Gloria Bunker, or his wife on the show. They left the show at the same time. They were written out. They It was written out that Mike and Gloria were moving to California. He was becoming a teacher. That's how they were written out of the script. And so they left together. And after that, Archie and Edith, they continued on. Like as many empty nest parents. When their kids grow up and move away. Show became kind of more centered around obviously Archie and Edith, and not so much of they didn't have the kids to interact with, so it became a very different show. But it was still a funny show nonetheless. But when the original cast was together, those four original, of course, talking about uh, the late great Carol Connor as Archie Bunker, a lovable bigot. Um, Gene Stapleton as Archie's dingbat wife. Edith. I mean, how many times did you hear hear him refer to her as a dingbat? And at the end of the day, Archie had his faults, and but him and Edith, they really loved each other. They were maybe complete opposites. He was kind of a grump, and she was a little sweet thing that really got taken advantage of. But Archie loved her, and I'll never forget the episode when Edith died. That was very very sad episode. You and then becomes Archie Bunker's place, and you realize just how much Edith was really loved by Archie, and what a big huge part her life he wasn't. And I bring this all up because you can see just in the way I'm talking about these people. It's we're talking about a TV show here, folks, but that is what these people meant to me. They were such a big part of my life. And yes, just talking about a 30-minute sitcom from the 1970s. But like I said, that's where myself and many people came to know Rob Reiner for the very first time. It should also be mentioned that part of the reason that Rob Reiner even got in the entertainment business was he was the son of another legendary comedian slash actor. And of course, I'm talking about his dad, Carl Reiner. And so I've heard Rob Reiner talk about his dad over the years, saying, yeah, his dad was a huge influence on him getting into acting and stuff. But after Rob Reiner left on the family, he decided he wanted to have a directing career, go into directing, and he man he formed Castle Rock Entertainment, which for many years was his production company, and they produced like such classic TV shows as Seinfeld. Of course, one of his first real breakout films as a director was Harry Met Sally. Now, I just tell you, I dare anybody to watch that film, When Harry Met Sally, and I'll laugh. Of course, that stars two leading actors that you probably haven't heard of in many many years. Of course, talking about Billy Crystal and Meg Ryan. Watch that film, and there's that one scene, one unforgettable scene that I know you all know what I'm talking about. So if you forget, go and check out. In honor of remembering the late great Rob Reiner. That's one film you can check out, Harry Met Sally. Now, his latest piece of work, of course, was making the second the follow-up movie to that classic Spinal Tap movie that was made in 1984. I mean, Spinal Tap, if you know anything about the history of it, you know, if you're a musician or a band, you either love it or you hate it, because a lot of the stuff is based on stuff that really has happened in the music industry, really goes on when a band's playing a concert, things that really like this happen to bands. And so, 30 years later, they made a new Spinal Tap movie called Spinal Tap 2, The End Continues. And I recently purchased it on DVD. Go and check this out. Get this to add in your collection if you still collect DVDs or Blu-rays. I tell you, as far as the rule for sequels, this one does not apply, because most of the time when you're talking about sequels, they're just never as good as the first one. I dare say that this film is as good, if not better, than the original film. Now, the actors that play the band, of course, one of the leading actors is Michael McKean, who many people know from Laverne and Shirley as the lovable, goofy neighbor Lenny. Another interesting thing why we bring this up is because obviously Rob Reiner and Michael McKean knew each other because of Michael appearing on the Laverne and Shirley show. Another interesting connection they had was in the 1970s. Rob Reiner was married to TV actress Penny Marshall, who was one of the stars of Laverne and Shirley. And when they were creating the show, they were looking for some side characters, and I believe it was Penny Marshall, um, who told her brother Gary about Michael McKean and David L. Landry, who played the role of the lovable Lenny's best friend Squiggy. And so Rob Reiner and Penny Marshall at their own home one night are having some kind of entertainment party. We're having a big get together as Laverne and Shirley's getting ready to be launched, and and then Penny tells David and Michael to show up to the party, and and Rob Reiner was there. They were all good friends, and that is how they ended up getting the part of Lenny and Squiggy, oddly enough. And then also the fact Michael McKean is cast as the lovable rock and lead singer, guitar player David St. Hubbins in Spinal Tap. And again, I don't want to kind of ruin the be a killjoy and tell you how the new Spinal Tap movie ends, so I won't do that. But I will tell you, I really strongly urge you to go out and see this film, or at least get it on DVD so you can watch it in your own living room. Great film. I'll just tell this reveal this. In the new Spinal Tap movie, the film was a lot more of a big budget film this time around. So much that they were able to get special guest stars such as Paul McCartney and Elton John to appear in the new Spinal Tap movie. So as far as the new Spinal Tap movie, thumbs up to the late great Rob Reiner and everybody that was in the film. Just another hilarious film. And so, as we close out this report, I want to say that, of course, our condolences go out to the family of the Reiners, their friends, Hollywood in general. I mean, and it should also be noted, although we don't typically talk too much about politics here at JRock's Babylon, I think it's very important to mention here that also besides that, after leaving, all the family in the 1970s, he really did not do too much acting anymore. I'm talking about Rob Reiner. He had much more of a directing career. He really got in, and he directed other things like The Princess Bride. So pull out one of those movies he directed, or watch a classic episode of All in the Family, and let's remind ourselves of what a big huge part Rob Reiner has been in our lives. There's just no denying that, but it should also be mentioned, as I was saying, we don't really typically get into politics too much here because we're more of an entertainment channel. Typically, we talk about pop culture, we talk about music. So again, tonight, in fact, I was going to do episode another 11 of JRock's Pop Culture Revolution, which was going to be a retrospective, looking back on our first 10 episodes. But that got pushed off till tomorrow night. So stay tuned for that. And that should be ready to go and roll out for you guys tomorrow night. But this news was breaking. I thought it was very important to go on the air and share my memories of Rob Reiner as far as, how he first came into my life and what he meant to me. I'm really sad, and the reason I'm bringing up politics is besides directing, the last several years of his life, he's really become a political activist. You would often see Rob Reiner going on a late night TV talk shows, and not necessarily even talking about what's the latest movie he directed, but he'd oftentimes go on and just give his views on what is going on in the world politically. He was very outspoken, and so, but that's his right to do so. And so, I just feel it's important to mention that because that is part of who Rob Reiner was. That's part of his story, and we want to tell the complete story. And again, this news is just breaking tonight, and my heart is breaking. I'm very sad to hear anytime anybody is murdered, stabbed to death. Wow. They haven't named a suspect or anything like that. Maybe they know, maybe they don't. But again, the news is just breaking tonight, and as this story develops, we will continue to update you on what's going on with this story. Rob Reiner, Michelle Reiner, may you both rest in peace tonight. Take care, my friends, and thanks again for supporting JRock's Babylon. Please go to our YouTube page. Please go to the Facebook page. Official JRock Babylon pages there, and please subscribe, because if you do that, any time we put up a new episode of any of our shows, you will be notified. So go there, and thanks again. And sorry to have to report the sad news, but want to be sure to get to this tonight before we go to bed, because man, it's just breaking as I'm getting ready to go to bed and get ready for work tomorrow morning. So take care, folks. Bye for now.